The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom.
What is going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and this is my live show on Facebook, and we are going to prepare you for the full moon that is coming up tomorrow and Saturday and even a little bit into Sunday. But I think it's important to talk about this full moon in preparation mode because this one's kind of intense, to be honest with you. And the reason why I think that this one is so intense is because it is happening in cardinal signs. Cardinal signs, if you don't know that, are beginning signs, new starts. And on top of that, we are dealing with a lot of Mars energy and a lot of Venus energy. So when you're dealing with Mars-Venus energy, you deal with relationships. You also deal with egos against others and so forth. And so conflict can come about because we're in a full opposition as well. And so I think it's important that we take a look at this. Now, what's awesome is I do have the Cosmic Watch from Cosmic Watch app looking at the stars right now. Now, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put it onto the astrology so I can show you guys what we are coming into with this full moon. Now, let's see if I can get to it though. Okay. See how the moon right now is passing Neptune and so forth. All right, where is this thing? I'm trying to get a grip on this thing. Okay, as you can see, the sun is starting to almost directly oppose the moon. Right now, the moon is in Pisces, as you can see up above. I'm surprised it won't let me go there. Anyway, once this moon comes into Aries, it's got the planet Uranus that's going to be exactly conjuncting this full moon. Here is Uranian energy. Now, having Uranus involved is going to be pretty gnarly, to be honest with you all. It's the planet of unpredictability. It's the planet that deals with wild breakthroughs, but sometimes it can deal with some hard lessons. And I just want to start to caution people that this weekend is getting ready for a very, I don't want to say harsh, but I want to say be ready for anything. Now, you all know I like to talk about the world stage a lot. And I think what's really interesting when we look at the world stage right now, I just have been following, and now I follow CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. I try to cover everybody. And of course, you get lost in all the political stuff. But below the political stuff there's a lot of stuff going on with Iran, believe it or not, and Russia. And Iran deploys warships off Yemen after the U.S., okay? I am not a big war person. I don't like to talk about war and stuff, but Mars energy is war, and there's a lot of Mars energy going around. We got Mars conjuncting Pluto next week. So if we look back at the Cosmic Watch here, and we actually step back out, and we go around, and we go to where the Mars energy is right now. Look at that. Mars and Pluto in the next week are about to conjoin. And with this Mars-Pluto conjunction, it's going to be pretty intense. So I would just start to prepare, because I think that this is going to be a pretty intense week. We got the final debate coming up. We've got tensions between nations. And what is this? This is about war. This is about not just war, but battles between relationships and people. Now, let's switch to the astrology view to kind of help understand this. I tried to give you a three-dimensional view, but let's move things a little bit here of why I believe that tensions are about to reach really high in a lot of relationships. Now, the positive is that you could really build some powerful relationships during this time. The negative is the opposite, right? So let's see. I'm looking at the trusty Leo King chart here, but you got to give me a second while I load to the days. Okay. And by the way, we are live in the chat room right now. So I'm using my Galaxy Note 7, which has to be turned in because it's being recalled today. And so this is going to be the last time I'm going to get to use this phone. So if you want to talk to me in the chat room, join here. But getting back to the chart. This full moon has the sun opposed Uranus. That always deals with people doing whatever the hell they want, okay? And I think that that's a very hard transit. Uranus is freedom, it's revolution, it's independence, it's rebellion. It's happening in Aries. People are going to do whatever they want. And then on top of it, you're already dealing with the Mars-Pluto conjunction during this time that's happening, which is already people will do anything for their ego. In the sign of Capricorn, they'll go wherever that they want to go. This is about relationship tensions. Top of that, Venus is at its detriment, which means it's at its worst sign it can be in besides Virgo. And it's there at the tail end, at the darkest part of Scorpio during this. So this is not going to be a very easy relationship time, especially that Jupiter wants to explore and learn a lot about relationships. Mercury as well is starting to square Pluto during this full moon. So that means that dark thoughts, dark, communication, hidden information is going to start to really be a big conflict about things. I think that hidden stuff's going to come out. I'm kind of mixing spirituality and my astro buzz with this show, unfortunately, but that I just am been called by spirit to put this information out to people, to let people know that this is coming and this is going to come really intense and strong. And I mean, it starts tomorrow, folks. Tomorrow the moon comes into Aries. If we look at tomorrow, or let's go to Friday. Boom, moon's in Aries on Friday. It starts, it opposes Jupiter, it opposes. And remember, this is where Mars and Pluto are now. They're basically almost in dead conjunction. I'm zooming in really far. Look at this is in the United States right now, West Coast at 3:51 p.m. Thursday. Look at Mars still has that much closer to connect to Pluto. Look at how close that is. Ay, ay, ay. So I thought, let's turn to the chat room because I really want to get a sense of what people are feeling out there in their own relationship world, see how people are reacting to things, how they're feeling about things, and what's going on with that. So I am in the chat room. Let me... How is everyone doing out there? Let me get... back to me. I am back in the studio. I have got you all on chat. People are saying they are super frustrated. Now, what's going to be cool is I'm going to be able to also load the chat room up so people can see the chat and what people are saying as well. So let's do that right now. All right. Somebody just got in a huge fight with their boyfriend. Somebody just lost a job. Loads of business tensions. So people are feeling the tensions rising. Now, I want to bring some positive into all this, okay? There's the opposite of the intense tension. Sometimes tensions have to happen in order for you to know exactly what you need out of a relationship, what you want. Sometimes that's what conflict does. It brings things up to the surface. Mercury square Pluto is going to force conversations, force things to all come up to the surface. Now here's all this Martian energy. Now here's our egos. Now here's our wants and our desires. Now here's our needs needing to be met. And it's going to be extreme. Going back to the chat, when does this let up? It lets up at the end of next week when Mars comes off of Pluto and when the moon starts to come off of this waxing phase and comes into the waning phase. And I think especially when the moon comes into Leo, I think it will drown a lot of the things out because Mars will be past Pluto. But then Mars is coming into a square with Uranus. So it's going to be a wild little bit of an end of the month here of October. It's definitely not, it's not that it's hard. You got to remember, cardinal energy is different than mutable energy. Mutable energy feels like you're all over the place and everything's crazy. Now things are starting to stable out. But now once you come out of the circus, it's like, do you want the clown to follow you home? It's like you kind of have to start to draw lines and say, this is what I want and this is where I'm going. This is the kind of people I need in my life. And so the difficult part is just standing your ground, standing what you want, being fair and balanced, feeling what's justice and right. There's a lot going to be happening about what you feel is unfair, what you feel that's not fair to you, what you feel like is dragging you down from getting to where you need to go. And a lot of that has to deal with when we look at the astrology. And when you look at, all this cardinal energy, it's all about getting on your path. This is about getting on your path after a crazy, wild September of eclipses and mutable signs and a Saturn square Neptune. But that creates conflict, It does create conflict. And I think people need to really not be so freaked out about how this happens. This is trying to align people to feel and see the life that they want, dealing with people and connecting with the right people and making sure that everything's on the up and up, everything's straight and everybody's gotten all their, you put everything on the table, right? At the end of the day, you put everything on the table. And I think that that's where the biggest part of this really is about, is everything is on the table. Now, I don't think it's an easy thing to deal with, but at the end of the day, I think that we can all start to really figure out who's going to be our life, who's not going to be our life, who's on our team, who's not on our team, what's really the place we're going and the trail we're going on, and what is dead weight and what is... And what do we really feel? Venus at the end of Scorpio is not a very easy position because you have to let your true feelings out. You can't hide them. And with Mercury square Pluto coming, it's becoming intense. So massive, massive relationship tension coming, but also massive, massive relationship clarity. Tension brings clarity. Let's turn back to the chat and see how people are feeling in the chat room. Let's see how you all are doing. Somebody said, so relationship-wise, it sounds like there will be a lot of breakups, LOL. Well, quite possibly. But it also could be fixing relationships. I look at this as a way to fix relationships. Uranus likes to fix things. So I think people give Uranus a bad name. Uranus wants to bring, the peace and the love and the hope. It just does it by, kind of rattling the cages and making sure that, everything is all done in that position. Yeah, so people are feeling the relationship tension. Is this not a good time to start dating? That's an interesting question. The whole thing about look at this. I have a little orb on my head from the light. That's so funny. We're going to have to switch cameras here. It's right on me now. But I think that's the best question. This is a great time to date. But I think what the dating is going to show you is what you really, really want and what you really don't want. You know, it's a good revealer. This time about dating is a great revealer, especially with a big full moon in Aries this weekend and Venus at the end of detriment and Mercury square Pluto. Oh, yeah, it comes all out, a lot of it this weekend. Big time. How will this affect politics? I think the politics thing is going to be dealing with nationwide, worldwide. Now, I just showed the story earlier. We're now dealing with Iran deploys warships. I was actually talking with a great astrology group the other day about how quite possibly before the election, America could enter into some sort of military action that helps sway what side the politics go and pull people out of these really crazy issues of emails and sex scandals and pulls it into more of what side feels about how the world's going. I feel that Russia / even whatever's going on with Iran, this stuff is some serious stuff going on, and it's being hidden by the distractions of who's up in the polls. But when you actually talk to, and I've been listening to a lot of news organizations, and everybody is saying that around the world right now, and CNN's not reporting anything. They're reporting really dumb stuff. Just like religious leaders slam Clinton campaign. The Clinton surrogate could finish off Trump. New York Times of Trump. Just those aren't stories. To me, you know what a story is? 2 cop shot. Okay, let's see what that is. The golden age of black TV is now. CNN is a reality TV show network. They do not do the reality TV shows stories. Their stories are reality shows, each one. They don't cover news. They don't cover what's going on. They don't even mention Iran anywhere here, which I think is kind of interesting. I think because a lot of the news networks don't want people to really see what's going on around the world. See, MSNBC is promoting all politics too. The whole thing's politics. Politics. Every picture is politics. Did you just see that? The whole entire thing. But there's so many other stories. Sometimes you have to go to like Yahoo. You got to go to like places where they're really not going to get too political to get real stories. You know, like I actually am happy that Yahoo's saying, hey, the skateboarder died. Because that's here, boom. Yahoo, 3rd top story where you're not going to deal with political jargon. Is Yemen, officials say U.S. missiles destroy radar sites on Yemen coast. This is the stuff that's serious, folks. This is the stuff that you see in the astrology right now when you go into what I'm talking about when it comes to all this stuff. Now, we're going to switch back to the cosmic watch. Because as you look at this Mars-Pluto conjunction, that's going to happen over the next week, which deals heavily with war, we're also dealing with Mercury, which is squaring that spot. Because if you look over here, Mercury in Libra, see how Mercury's here in Libra? It's squaring that Mars-Pluto position. It's at the first, the second decan of Libra. See that? And if you look over at Capricorn, where Mars and Pluto are, it's squaring this spot. So this is going to be tension dealing with diplomacy or tension dealing with deals from the past that might be even broken or deals being exposed for what they really are. And right now, here's the moon right on the south node, Neptune, Chiron too. We are all in the dark, folks. Not until tomorrow when this is going to be a giant beast that wakes up. Tomorrow, boom. All this stuff's going to come out. Because the full moon hits, The sun opposes Uranus tomorrow. Exactly. Let's look at, so if we follow the trail, okay, let me go back. If we follow the trail and we look at Aries and we look at Uranus, this is Uranus, okay? Now, see where it's at. This is it. I want to get really clear to people. There's Uranus, okay? All right. There it is, and there it is in Aries. You can see the sign Aries at the bottom. Directly, exactly oppose that, okay, is what? The sun. Look, do you see that? Do you see how that's directly opposed that? And this is where the Libra story is. Here is massive tensions. You'd think it'd be opposite. You'd think it'd be if the sun was in Aries and Jupiter was in Aries and we had a full moon in Libra, that would be a time of more diplomatic issues. But no, unfortunately, it is when you have the sun and Jupiter and Venus, or not Venus, Mercury in Libra and a full moon and Uranus and Aries opposition. That's going to be the big showdown, folks. That's going to be the big showdown. And if you look just in helio-wise, and you look at where Uranus is, so let's go way back out here. Let's see if they even, I don't even think they show Uranus on here, unfortunately. That's kind of sucks. They only show the inner planets. They don't show the outers. But anyway, that's what's going on, folks. So I'm just trying to prepare people before it gets a little intense tomorrow, because tomorrow it's going to get intense, not only relationship-wise, but also with everything that's going on with diplomacy and the real stories, which is, I hate to be honest, but war stuff. You're dealing with Mars and Pluto. You're dealing with a full moon in a Mars-ruled sign. You're dealing with Uranus. And Uranus, for some reason, has a very powerful connection with America in war. Anytime that Uranus has been in Gemini, Uranus has gone through major, major wars. I don't think this will be a major war, but this could start to be what sways what side of the election. And I believe that there could be some weird deception going on, to be honest with everybody, because already I believe that there's massive deception going on in our media, in our press, based off the position of what's going on with Neptune and the South Node. I've been saying this for a long time. And when you look at this and you really take a look and you see that Neptune and the South Node are just dead conjunct pretty much. And during a time like this, this all has to deal with deceiving pawns, deceiving pieces on the chessboard that are moving to sway people's opinion. I said actually and unfortunately the show I did was not published live. It was a private show I did online with a private group on the East Coast. And we talked about this. And what's interesting is, unfortunately, I really believe that military and war aspects are going to sway the election. And I believe that both sides of this election, whether it's the Republican side or whether it's the Democratic side, that they both are trying to put their best spell on the people of who to vote for. Both sides are using crap on each other. Both sides are shoveling Pisces, manipulation, fake stuff. Both sides. Both sides are throwing each other's crap. And I believe that whoever uses the war aspect as the better aspect might win, because I got a feeling that tensions around the world are about to get really hostile and crazy really fast. Now, Mercury is sextiling Saturn, which brings some stability to Mercury, but unfortunately, it doesn't bring stability in the case of this full moon. It only brings stability for 1 second, and unfortunately, that second is today. And tomorrow, when the full moon's not even full yet, Mercury's past Saturn. So, we're going to go back to questions, because I just read a question. I think some people are really confused about and it is about different stuff. But let me get to the chat room here. So somebody asked me just now, I shared your video. Does this mean you receive a mail from me? I pick one person a week. If I were to send out 1,000 shared pamphlets and readings, I wouldn't have a life. So I hope you know that. I've been sending that out to people, letting them know if you share the uncut, you have the opportunity to win. You don't win. I think people need to not get so caught up in who is who, whether it's Hillary or it's Trump, but you need to really pay more attention to this world stage. A lot of people are saying CNN is head of the media machine. Yeah, it's weird. CNN, and I just proved it, has turned, you know, and you know what they did? CNN after about 2009 and 10, after 2012, sorry, I got my dates wrong, but once they had Piers Morgan leave, their ratings were really bad. So, and I'm in the entertainment world, so you know what they did is they created reality shows. The first show that they created was the cook guy, what's his name? And I love that show, Anthony Bourdain. Okay, that show. Then they started creating other shows, like that one black guy who goes and describes, you know, why Black America's bad. And then they created, they have another reality show, Lisa Lang, where she goes into crazy positions. They needed to become an entertainment network. They are a cable news network, which means they can report on anything however the hell they want to, and nobody's going to find it credible or not. The difference between ABC News and NBC News, when they do it, their nighttime stuff, you know, they get held a lot more credible because the newspapers will be on their ass more or whatever. There's no newspapers checking, and I got to be honest, I got to put even Fox News in that category because they're also cable news. Any cable news network, okay? It doesn't matter if it's Fox, CNN, or any of them. They all are in the entertainment world. Sorry, that's all cable shows. And you know what? They make money off the ads that are being done on the TV. They can report on whatever they want. They can make up a story that a fish fucking died of nuclear poison from The Simpsons and has 3 eyes. And people could believe it. What the truth is that the media is the internet now. And the media is people all having and showing, you know, people need, I think the media, if the media were to show what people were really saying, I throw up the chat to show what everybody's saying. A lot of people don't like CNN, some people called it the Clinton News Network. Some people just call it, but it's a reality show network. And I cannot believe that they're not reporting on this war stuff that's going on, you know? So going to be kind of crazy. But let me tell you all this. There's nothing to fear except fear itself. There's nothing to be scared about. This is a great time for us all to confront what's not fair. That's what Libra's about. And Aries is going to demand it now. And it's going to demand fairness. It's going to help Libra, because unfortunately Libra has a problem. All the Libras are probably going to agree with me. They have problems when it comes to sometimes defending themselves. They always want somebody to help them out or defend them a little bit or have a teammate or have their partner with them. It's kind of hard for them to do it alone. That's why Aries is more of an independent, bold sign. This full moon is going to help the world and help individuals in your own life. It's going to help yourself. Defend what you feel is fair. Defend what you feel is righteous. Defend what you feel is the right thing. And that's what Jupiter will deliver. So whatever side you feel, if you're going to get into politics, that you feel is unfair, Jupiter will, trust me, will take care of that and show what's unfair and what's not. it will work itself out, however that will go. Whatever side is not being right, we don't know because we're all being deceived on both sides. It's not our job, I think, to really try and maybe decipher this. I think that this is going to be God that's going to figure this one out. And I think that God's going to show and define it all the right way that it's supposed to be within this next month. And for us not to get tripped out. And for us to all really see that this is a time for us to get that power from the universe. So anyway, prepare, people. Not like going underground or anything, but prepare for conflicts in the world stage to get more intense this next week, in this weekend. Prepare for also the power to start to say what you must say and do what you must do, and to come out of a quick little slumber. This moon in Pisces was a slumber. It was funny, actually, on my Facebook. It was really funny. I put up a video of what I thought the sun in Libra and the whatever you call it, the moon in Pisces was. And it's funny because it reminds me of Ed O'Neill in whatever you call this, Married with Children, how he puts his hand down his pants and he just sits on the couch. You know, that's kind of been the last couple days. And when you actually look at this, that's been what the energy has been. It's just kind of yeah, let me just sit there. Oh, yeah, let me just sit there clicking. Oh, that's the moon in Pisces, sun in Libra. What am I going to do? I don't know. And that is what we're waking up from in a very big and intense way. And you're going to see more stories about this war stuff over the next week. That's all I got for you today. Hope everybody's doing wonderful. Hope you have a good weekend. I talk about more of the spiritual part of the astrology horoscope this weekend, of course, on my app, which you can get at the leokingapp.com. And you can also watch it on your computer, of course. And, of course, the daily horoscope every day, or your sun signs horoscopes. The app is where I talk about how it affects your sun sign, which I think is very important to understand, and how it affects your sign. So I talk about this buildup and how this full moon affects you if you're on the app. Thank you so much for all the support. I truly appreciate it. You all are awesome and wonderful and great, and I love being live with you all. And I look forward to speaking to you all soon. I got to run. I got a jet. I got to go return my Samsung Note 7 before it blows up in my hand. Thanks so much for all the support, and I appreciate it. Thank you for watching the Leo King Network. And make sure that you stay tuned on my app where I put the alert when I go live, or just subscribe to me here on my Facebook. Thanks so much for all the support, and I will see you on the next live version of my show. Wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.